And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, inside Legends here in Boardman for the first time ever. It is the South Range Coaches Corner here in Boardman at Legends Food and Drink. We want to first thank Rick, who's been unbelievable. Can we get a round of applause for Rick for sponsoring the Raiders this year? The Legends.
Thank you, Rick.
Give it up for everybody. The Legends themselves. We're here with Dan Yeagley, Coach. What an unbelievable week. I mean, we talked this time last week about focus. And Struthers, they certainly came prepared. You said it was a rough week of practice, and then you come out against Poland. You guys were focused up and ready to go. Talk to me about last week of practice leading up to the game. What changed from one week to the next?
You know what? Exactly what we talked about. It's all about focus. And, the kids, we had to make decisions. We have a lot of talent on the team and a lot of great leaders. And, it was sort of drifting a little bit, and how we had to focus, get everything back together and make it more team-oriented instead of me-oriented. And the kids understand that. The kids see, unfortunately, the kids see me on Thursdays, and they see me on Saturdays. They see me on, Sundays, and we can't do that. We have to play as a team, or we can falter. And so we focused a lot on team, and the kids bought into it. They understood the direction, and they understand where they want to be.
Sure.
In the future, they understand the direction that they want to be in, be going in, and they bought in. They understood. They understood what wasn't going right and what needed to change, and they did it. It's all the kids. They understood that focus was very important, and they got it done.
Now, naturally, whenever you're thinking about kind of lining things up, you want to have your worst game, and that was Struthers so far, in the middle of the season, so you can kind of recreate the scenarios. You don't want it to be week 10 going into the playoffs. Yeah. So when you're looking at that, I don't want to say Poland wasn't ready, but I think they were anticipating that team from the week prior showing up. Those guys were locked in if I've ever seen it.
They were. I mean, the kids were, like I said, they had a great week of practice because they bought into what we were doing. They had a great week of practice. They understood what they had to do different, and they did it. I mean, they really did. They were focused. They understood. And even before we went out on the field, I said, I was proud of them and proud of what they've done and proud of how they decided to change the atmosphere, the character, the team, and in the right direction. And I said, the only unfortunate part is Poland's next. And they came out and played super, and I knew that they would. I knew that they were, because how they practiced. Yeah. I knew that they would be going in the right direction. And like I said, I'm very proud of them and very proud of the leaders, especially the seniors. They're the team. They're the leaders of the team, and they made those changes. And like I said, it's hard to change sometimes, but it was something that needed to be done. And like I said, I'm very proud of them.
Could you tell during the week kind of that they were a little bit more kind of locked in, that maybe what was a 5 the week before was a 9 or a 10? Can you tell that in practice?
Oh, you could tell. They could tell. They understood. I mean, I'm dealing with very intelligent kids, very good football players, kids that understand. We talked about, guess what? This is a lot of them played last year, and it was basically the same group of kids, and a couple different people here and there, but it was basically the same group, and how things were different and how things had to change. And like I said, this group, they understood. And they understood how it was getting away and how they had to change, make some changes. And you could tell after Monday's practice, after Saturday's practice, after we got through films, they understood because we could show it on film. It was very concrete. We showed them on film. We came back Monday, had a great practice on Monday. Tuesday was a great practice. Wednesday was a even better practice. And then Thursday, we got everything together and pulled everything together, finalized everything for Friday, and they were ready. And even the locker room was different on Friday pregame. They understood. And like I said, they saw it in practice. We all saw it in practice. And we obviously saw it on Friday night.
What was interesting to me is typically games like that, weeks like that, the coaching staff is absolutely exhausted. The kids look like they could have went out and played another game, but after the game, you were exhausted. How much does it take out of a coaching staff after a week like that?
You know what? It takes a lot, but luckily I surround myself with great coaches and great players, and the coaches did a great job. They understood what we had to do also, and they understood the direction we had to go in, and hats off to them. They made it work, and that's the key. You surround yourself with good people that have the same vision that you do, and we got it done, and they got it done, I should say. And like I said, it still comes down to the players.
Sure.
They have to buy into it. They have to understand what they have to do different and what had to change, and they made it happen.
From
So,
your perspective, staying on the sidelines, it wasn't just the first team; it was the second team. It was everybody put in. It looked like they had a chip on their shoulder. Who impressed you the most with the time that they got this week?
you know what? I'm not gonna. It's hard to pick one
Okay.
group. We can easily say the offense.
Sure.
I mean, we can go with that group of people. The offense changed. They understood, and guess what? Here's the thing too. After the Struthers game, we got together, and even after Saturday's practice, they understood. They know the expectations of this group, and they understand how they're supposed to practice, how they're supposed to handle themselves, and they knew it wasn't right, and they weren't happy with their performance neither, and so they came back, and we had, like I said, we had a great week of practice, and the offense against Poland was phenomenal.
Yep.
I mean, running the ball, blocking up front, catching the ball. I mean, just throwing the ball. Everything was close to being perfect, and we still have room to improve. Like, we want to improve every single week, but the offense did great. Against Struthers, our defensive front played very well, and against Poland, they played very well again, and the secondary played well also. And it's just the defense is continuing to click. It still has a long way to go also, but they're going to be challenged this week. But I think offensively, that was the team that improved the most. And like I said, they had a chip on their shoulder because they wanted to prove people who they are. They wanted to show people who they are.
We're going to talk to him in just a little bit, but talk about your quarterback. I mean, mentally tough to be able to go from the week that he had at Struthers to only missing one completion against Poland, and does it with his legs as well. How, I mean, he's a young man that he went from Billy the Kid to Billy the Man overnight. Did you have to kind of have a conversation with him, or is he just say, hey, coach, it's on me, I'm going to take this?
Billy's hard on himself. We don't have to have a conversation with him. He understands. He knows the game. He really does. And he, like I said, he's very hard on himself. And he knew that he had to change. And, he knew that he knew that he made a couple decisions that, tried. Sometimes it wasn't even really a bad decision. He pushed himself a little bit harder. He pushed himself. I think I can get the ball in this little tight hole. And all of a sudden, this little spot, or I can squeeze it in there. Well, Struthers is very athletic and very talented, and a very good team and very well coached. And guess what? They were there. And, some of it was, hats off to Struthers. I mean, they had a good game plan, and they played well. And like I said, they're very good, a very good team also. And they caused some of those turnovers. It wasn't Billy. It wasn't the fumbles. Some of it was them. And, like I said, hats off to them. But we knew we had to make those changes, and I didn't have to talk to Billy. I know Coach Allegretto and him had a couple long talks, and more about the little things that we can do different, and little things that make it easier on him also. And like I said, Billy's hard on himself. We don't have to push Billy.
I mean,
Billy's there.
I was super impressed by the decisiveness in Poland. It felt like he knew where the ball was going right off the snap. He had the reads down. Those couple passes to Aiden Leone were beautiful.
Spot on.
Could not have put it on a tee better than he did.
I agree 100%. And, even today in practice, we could throw up our huddle film. We had Billy was spot on again today. I don't even know if we threw an incompletion all practice with our offense. He was spot on again, and the kids were crisp. They look crisp. They look sharp. So yeah, it's good. I mean, I'm happy. We got some challenges ahead of us, obviously, with Gerard this week, but really happy with the kids, how focused they are right now, and how goal oriented. They have goals. They have things that they want to accomplish this year, and to do that, they know they have to do those little things right.
So we got your offensive, defensive line here. I mean, they're eating right now. We're taking care of that. Well, Legends is taking care of them. Thanks again, Rick.
Oh, thank you.
And yes. Jimmy, we appreciate it. But the thing that I mentioned, you're the line guy. You love the trenches. You love it uptight. Talk about how great this line, both sides of the ball, has been, and how it's dictated your 5-0 start.
You know what? I coach the defensive line. I'm very proud of those guys and how they played. And again, it's not me. They're very talented. That's a talented group of kids and young men. I'm sorry, they're not kids. They're young men and very talented. we made some changes. We had some changes in the offseason. Jacob Zinni went to Boardman,
Yep.
with DJ, which can understand totally.
Yep.
I mean, wanted to be with his high school coach and
Sure.
coach with him and understand that totally. And, we were looking for offensive line coaches. And luckily, we were able to pull in Levi Taylor. What a great pickup for us. Graduated a few years ago, went to college in Utah, and came back home. And, he tore his knee up really bad his senior year. And when that happened, we put him in charge of kids. Very, very smart young man, very good coach, understands the game. Very demanding on these kids, and they bought into him. And he was there in the weight room in the winter, got them going, understood. That was a huge pickup for us. And then picking up Coach Foster, picking up Tony, and what a great coach he is. And, things didn't work out, but, we always have an open door for coaches that coached with me before. And getting him back was huge also. And so all of a sudden, we have these two great line coaches and pushing these kids hard. And the offensive line has really been clicking. They really have.
Yes.
We were worried with Chris Colucci being the only returning starter coming back. But we played a lot of kids last year. A lot of those guys played and had some playing time, but they came back and worked hard in the offseason. They had a great winter in the weight room. And then all of a sudden, here they are. They're just playing them phenomenal. They really are. And like I said, it's always nice to have that center back, having Chris back, because from there you got a couple guards, couple tackles spread out from there, and you don't have to worry about the snap. We got the snap down and the count, and everybody else has to react off of him.
It's so good to see. I mean, there's youth, there's leadership, there's everything on the offensive and defensive front. And really, when people ask me what's the difference in South Range, it all starts up front on both sides.
No, it does. Yeah.
So let's talk about this Girard matchup. There's going to be a lot of lights. There's going to be a lot of cameras around. And naturally, this is the one that everybody's talking about. 2 5-0 teams really could dictate the league championship in week 6. Did you ever think you'd be talking about a league championship in week 6?
You don't. I mean,
Yeah.
We don't. No, we weren't talking about it earlier in the season. We knew Girard was going to be good this year.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they're loaded. They have a lot of skill. Their offensive line is playing very well also, and their defensive line's playing very well. They went. It's Coach Pearson does an awesome job. I mean, look at the runs he's had, and and again, we talk about my assistant coaches. His assistant coaches have been around for a while too. He lost Coach Doda, came to Boardman, but picked up another guy, and he's done a great job with their defense. And Coach Cochran, my goodness, it's Coach Cochran.
Sure.
I mean, and he does a great job calling their offense. And it's just it's week 6, and I can't believe it's week 6, first of all.
Yeah, I know.
And they just, they built their team around speed. They really did. 5 wide, spread them out, got a quarterback that can run. The Bagala boy, he just does a great job running their office. He throws the ball well, runs the ball well. He gets flushed out of the pocket, and all of a sudden he's 20 yards downfield. And he's scary. He really is. And we know that we have to play our very best from the opening kickoff on, or they can beat us because they're that talented and that good. They're 5-0 for a reason.
Sure.
I mean, they're 5-0 for a really good reason. Defensively, just scary some of the things they did. You watch their defense, you may only see a couple 50 numbers, and everybody else is single digits and 10s and 20s. And again, their whole defense is built around speed. How can they cover people? They'll man up on people. They'll run some zone. They'll give pressure from multiple locations. And they do a great job with what they're doing and how they're calling it. And it's going to be a challenge. I mean, our kids understand that. We talked about, this might be for a league title, but there's a lot of games to be played yet and a lot of good teams on our schedule yet. And we got to come out and play well. I mean, we got to come out and play with the attitude we did versus Poland, but we got to improve from Poland. We can't stay with just how we played against Poland. We got to improve ourselves. We got to get better because this team is a lot better.
Athletically, does Girard remind you of Struthers at all?
They do in certain locations, certain spots, but they're just it's very similar.
Gotcha. Okay.
With speed and everything else, but Girard has been playing at that level for a couple of years, and where Struthers is building a program, Coach Beck's done a great job at getting his program to that level where, Girard's been at that level. They've been to the state finals. They've been to that, at that elite location and playing at that elite level for a long time. They put a little dip, but then these kids are back and been back from last year, and they're playing really good football. And like I said, it's gonna be a war. It really is. It's gonna be a war for 48 minutes. And but I told the kids on Monday, I said, this is what we want.
Yeah.
You want to be in these situations. You want to be in these kind of games. You want to be playing for a league title, just like we did against Hubbard last year, week 10. You want to be in this situation. You got to strive for this moment and enjoy it, and let your level of play rise up to the occasion. And that's what we want of these players.
Is there anything that you can do or the staff can do to limit some of the distractions? I know especially when it's a kind of the game of the week coming in, they do, vignettes and stuff like that, and interview players and take players from frac. Is there anything you can do to just kind of keep them singular focused?
No, you got to enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
These are high school kids, and sometimes this will be the only moment they'll be in like this. And you got to enjoy it. You got to live the. My goodness, we're here at Legends. This great venue. You got parents here. You got kids in the back.
Are you as nervous as I am with people actually watching? When we do this,
from
home, nobody's watching.
My dog was. No, you got to live this moment.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. The things that, teams don't get to experience this sometimes. And, you got to enjoy being game of the week. You got to enjoy being on YSN. You got to enjoy being at places like this. We enjoy our Thursday family dinners with the mom feeds and everything else. And it just, you got to soak in the moment, because sometimes, you try to just don't be distracted by this. But my goodness, these are high school kids. Enjoy this, because some of them will never experience this kind of stuff again. And soak it in, enjoy it, love it, live it. And enjoy the meals, enjoy the food, and enjoy the moment. But you guys, to get focused then come game time. Come Friday, then we'll start focusing and
lock it in. Right?
Lock it in. That's right.
We're getting some Go Raiders. First, we have from Melissa Scott Bryan, also Scott Valentine, and here's Sonia Skirpak also saying, "Thank you, Legends." Yes, absolutely.
Yes, thank you,
Legends. Coach, last question before we start going to the players. When you're at a place like this, an establishment, of course, with your lovely wife, what's the go-to for you? Are you like a sandwich guy, or are you like a pasta guy? What's the go-to?
You know what? I love pasta, but I love my wife's sauce. So
okay.
I'm not gonna lie. I just some.
Is
I
it
stay
a
away
sweeter
from.
sauce?
I don't know. She might stick her finger in and make it extra sweet. I don't know. But I just it's a. She's a great cook, and so when we go out to eat, I do like sandwiches. I like a good steak. I'm a steak guy, and steak and potatoes. I like that, and but I like sandwiches. There's just not a whole lot that I don't eat. That's the problem.
That's good.
Chicken. I like chicken. But I do stay away from pasta unless we're at a good Italian place. Then you go ahead and go with the pasta. And
I can appreciate that.
Maybe some Alfredo sauce. I like some of the.
I see. Okay.
Because Kelly doesn't make Alfredo sauce, so therefore I'll get it there. But I'm not a picky eater. I was brought up to eat what's on my plate, and I still do that. I eat whatever Kelly makes, because she's a great cook, and except for she wasn't able to make it, she said sorry.
That's okay. I understand.
I called her on the way here, and she's eating a bowl of cereal, so I don't, which is too bad. But no, I just. I'm a steak and potato guy. I'll eat that, and day in and day out. I love it.
I'm with you, Coach Yeagley. Thank you as always. Good to see you back in the
so
flesh.
much.
I appreciate it.
Thanks
so
much.
Go get some good food.
I will. I'm no hurry.
We're going to get Chris Colucci when we come back on the
Awesome.
South Range Player Profile and Coach's Corner with Dan Yeagley.